are in an era where we have been talking all about the great resignation. And if you go by the new current methods, they are saying it's going to be another wave coming in. I see 5 pins. Okay. Chat is disabled. Okay. Bangalore. And then I just see Bangalore. Okay. Everyone's majorly, I think people who have pinged is Bangalore. Okay. Nama Bangalore. Let's start. And so my whole point is we'll keep this power packed, and the whole idea is I'll be asking also a lot of questions, so that I can also learn while imparting what I've been practicing and researching. So uh, let's start with the very first question. How much is the cost of attrition to company? Anyone, any guesses? So everyone who has joined in knows attrition for sure. The way people keep leaving, and so any wild guesses? What is the cost of attrition to a company? Okay, let's see. 2 to 3 months of associate salary, cost of productivity, per person productivity. Okay. Any other person? Thanks, Shruti. Thanks, Charles. Anyone else? Cost of turnover is extremely high here, because when a company is, this is by the by research of Forbes and Outlook, which we went through before putting this all together, it's 1.5 to 2 times of employee salary plus 30, 60 or 90 days of notice, which is pretty high, because there's a lot of investment gone into an employee, not only the salary and the money we are calculating, but the time. Imagine if I have to replace XYZ person today, the time I've invested over a year, I have to invest again, which is huge. So rather than putting so much of money and so much of cost, why don't we just, figure out what is the best way can I retain people? And what investment I have put in the employees, I get the best out of for my business. Okay. So going further, study shows generally nearly 40% of people who have quit in the first year of their job, out of them 75% could have been retained. Interesting. Why not? You tell me, do you think people can be retained if they have made up a mind to resign? Anyone? Please put in your answers in the chat. Do you think people can be retained? This is what the study shows.
So one information, so everyone can put their question or responses in the Q&A box, and we will take it from there.
Yeah, please put in the Q&A box. So I'll repeat. Do you think 40% of people who are decided according to the research, can they be retained?
So yes, Charles is saying yes, if the person is good contributor, the demands can be met. Deepak is also saying yes. Uh, so
But
yeah.
it will come at a cost, Mangesh says. Interesting. Yeah. Or time investment in employees. Why not? So let's see how can we retain them and save your money, which you're going to lose. So how to curb attrition, right? So before actually getting into the solution, I thought, why not, rather than grabbing the head of the problem, let's grab it from the tail. If we see it from the other perspective, we can know this better and we can curb this problem in a long term as well as a quick fix. So, to understand how to curb attrition, we must understand the mindset. Why are people resigning? Generally, what happens in companies, and I think employees have faced it too, managers, senior level leadership is only thinking from their perspective, this is what the truth is, not trying to understand what's the mindset, what is the real problem. So the need of the company is that we need to understand, firstly, we are hiring millennials. Millennials are people who are born after 85, 86. And generally the trend is seen that these people are also called switchers. They resign within 2 years. They are highly productive, high potential people. They want to do a lot of things in a small time. So to keep them busy and keep them together, we need to understand what do they require to keep them going. So 72%, there's a fact, again, Forbes says, 72% of millennials think they can't last more than 2 years because it's difficult for them to see long termness, long term longevity here. So, types of resignation people go through, right? There is voluntary, involuntary, retirement, internal, demographic. I'll just take a few seconds to explain this. Voluntary is you and I decided we don't want to work here anymore. We put in our papers. Involuntary is where I feel people I hired are not productive enough. I put them through enough coaching and I just ask them to resign. Retirement, of course, a lot of time it happens. People are getting retired, and the HR is two participants raise their hand. Uh, are there any questions, Charles? Uh, do you want to ask me something? You can post it in Q&A. Worth retaining if she is a productive person. Okay. Yep, it is true. Yeah.
Divya, we have question from Akansha as well. So Akansha, please, you can put your question in the chat box or Q&A wherever you feel comfortable.
Also, I'll keep asking questions in between. So it'll be great if you answer A, and I would love to take all your questions in the end. So we have both absorbed each other well. I hope that works. Okay. So, sorry. Yeah. So I was saying retirement. So generally HRs wake up at the 11th hour, 2 months before, not realizing that when a person is leaving at a position where he has contributed a lot, should be actually coaching someone for at least 7, 8 months to fill in the gaps. And then we have internal, which is called the IJP, when people switch from one role to another. And demographic. If demographic is only a red alert, only if we have Charles, I'll just take this. I'll just take your question. It's a red alert only if it's a repetitive pattern. Let's say a lot of women are resigning, a lot of age group of 20 to 30 people are resigning. Then you really need to look. Maybe there are not enough challenges, and a lot of women are resigning. Maybe it's not a very protective or safe work environment. So only then. Otherwise, it can be a little looked over. Okay. All right. We'll move further. Neha, do you want to take? I think Charles raised his hand. Couple of people. Do you want to take up their questions?
Yes, Divya. So Mangesh is asking, what will be the cost?
Of
I believe attrition.
so okay. So let's just quickly take this question.
Hmm.
What do you think, everyone? What is the ideal attrition rate? Ideal percentage in an organization? Which should be followed? Oh, chat has started working. Okay, 5 to 7%. Mangesh says. Okay, 5%. Satish. Anyone else? Wild guesses. Pooja 5%. Okay. Okay. So ideal is not 5%. Even companies like Mercedes and stuff, they have a 7% attrition. It's 10%. And it's pretty simple to calculate also numbers of people resigned in the current company and how many employees are there and divided by and into 100. You can figure it out. But companies currently are not able to achieve even 10%. That's how high attrition is because people are leaving and people are being hired. That's why the era of great resignation it has been called. Hardly people are even able to, get 10% of attrition. So, which is alarming currently for organizations. I've not raised my hand. I'm sorry. Okay, no problem. All right. So, before I pick up, what do I think? What are the reasons? Since we are all employees, I think we have all left a company, switched to a better company. Why don't we all understand from each other? Can you please tell me why would you resign? What do you think could be a reason people are leaving actively from a company? And this is open to all. I see 36 participants. I would be happy to see everyone answering this. No growth, bad work culture. Got it, Divana. Okay, Pooja Yadav, no growth. Mostly it would be because of the boss. Okay. Maybe micromanagement, bad work-life balance. True, happens with all of us. Can you tell me how can we make it 70% of millennials how to retain? What kind of measures can Definitely, Savari, we'll get to that answer. This is whole webinar is for you all people to give you how to retain those people. Salary issue, bad environment. True. Anything else? Okay, Sangeeta, not competitive. Okay, maybe not enough challenges. Millennial issue, right? We need to be growing consistently. Uninspiring work. True. Vikas, company not doing well. Okay. But company not doing well, वो तो खुद ही निकाल देंगे ना. They'll leave, relieve us. Work pressure and respect, work environment. When ethos don't match, true. Bad behavior. That's amazing. Thank you everyone for answering. So I've put together what is the majority according to surveys. It's lack of recognition, or you can say lack of recognition, efforts, and respect sometimes. Get more and less time, which I think the Bang and couple of people said bad work environment. So they want people to produce somewhat 30 hours of work in 24 hours, and which is not feasible at all. Lack of employee benefits. Of course, employee benefits are important, maybe not in the first job, but eventually, once we have been seasoned professional, we want to know what are my benefits. And not only there, if you see where people are switching between Swiggy and Zomato, it's a delivery job. People are in the blue collar, gray collar front line. They are switching because they feel more secured in one company. They are seeing insurance policies and stuff, where in other companies they are not. So employee benefits matter at all levels. This is for all blue collar, gray collar, white collars. Absence of employee training, extremely important. No matter it's blue collar, gray collar, white collar, everyone wants a consistent growth. As Vikas said, no uninspiring work. So if you feel that the work is not enough, you need to give people a meaty role. Unrealistic expectation. Many a times it happens. HR, the JDs, and even the people are not matching expectation. I remember I was on a call with recruiters and I was trying to understand an attrition problem in one of the major companies. This is for frontline workers, and the job was collection. And when I got into a call to understand why are people resigning, then I got to know people were appointed as cash collectors, but they were expected to offloading, downloading of storage material, which is a warehouse work, right? So of course people will. It's a mismatch. That's not their role. There is no growth for them. So when we are doing such hiring, then I think we need to improve our hiring structure and the way we strategize everything. Okay, any further questions on this? We'll move forward. And as I promised Sabari, I'll give you all the answers in the end. Any questions till now? Okay, we'll move further. So now steps. I have figured out some 8 steps I've put together, which should work for all workforces, yeah, our executive levels to senior levels. Okay, so I'll just put in a context around this, that how HRs are also for HRs it's extremely important when they're setting out, or even hiring managers where they are deciding to hire, there should be a plan in place. It should not be haphazard. Today I need, tomorrow I don't. So number one is analyze your workforce. So this is for Sabari. You said how to retain millennials. Millennials have a lot of issues of personality, right? So analyze your workforce, build a team according to personality. Sometimes personalities are a misfit. They are too weak together, too strong together, too strong-headed, many attitude issues. Not everyone get along. So knowing what kind of people you're bringing in, so there are less clashes. And let's say you're in a situation where you did a hiring and you needed that team members, and team members are pretty good at work, but they don't get along. Then maybe you can intervene with training of team development. That's again an intervention can be done. So analyzing a workforce is extremely important. Second, um, currently hire and fire culture, which got started with um, various startups, I would say, and I think most of the people know. I would not like to do the name calling. Has become like a thing. People think, okay, we can hire because today I need people, tomorrow I don't, I need to dump. And but there are still in such scenarios some intelligent managers as well as HRs who set it up procedure that at least if you're hiring a person, you should have a headway of 2 years, if not 5 or 10. That's also good enough, because seeing the trend of great resignation or the switches game, people are resigning within every 2 years. So that also helps. So, and also, you have all the rights to fire people who are not performing despite all you have done. But I think it should be done with a proper PIP plan and a proper growth chart of not affecting the company. And definitely exit interview to improve ourselves also, because I'm sure no company is perfect. Third, increase employee satisfaction. A lot of time people hire people and at a very lower rate. I myself hired a team and I'm seriously given a good increment and everything. But the point is not that. The point is, A, you know what kind of work you're gonna get out of them. B, they should feel satisfied and feel that I got the correct uh, uh, amount which I deserved. Because otherwise, once they get into system, they speak to other people and then they know they were they were short sold, which is not a good feeling. So, and also, again, putting retirement and resignation plans in structure. Resignation plans, as in sometimes people are resigning and it could be because of bad boss or something. HRs can intervene and see, if they can change the mind of the employer, if the employee is valuable, or if, if they want to offer an IJP, or some other ways can be worked around. And when you already know someone's resigning, how not to affect other team members, put in a plan together. Fourth, professional recruitment strategy. Yeah, I think this is my favorite, because when we are working, a lot of people are just haphazard hiring. And when we do a detailed work and growth plan, automatically our first three problems are solved. When there's a detailed growth, we already know the kind of person, the thought leader, the strategy head, or the person who will follow but should have these competencies get sorted. And Savari, I would request your feedback if you think this is going to work for you. Fifth, change of department should be flexible. If I say, Vikas said, it's not inspiring, but I see that I can do a better in another department. My manager and the HR should be, policies should be flexible for my growth. Also, rather than saying that, sorry, I'm not ready to let you join. And the fact says 32% leave their job due to desire of such changes. And how many of you feel you are not rewarded or recognized well by your bosses or by the leadership? How many of you think? We have the Q&A open. Please put it. Or in general, you think people are not recognized for their work and there should be more recognition and award culture? Okay, I think it was too direct a question, but I'll let go of it. I think rewards and recognition goes long way. Companies like Adobe and different companies, big companies, who couldn't give hike during COVID, they started a huge drive on reward and recognition, gave trophies and whatnot to just make that feel that their employees are valued, they are taking care of them well during a pandemic, because they wanted the workforce to stay together, but everyone was not making a lot of money. There's something in the chat. Neha, can you please?
Yes, Divya. So yeah, Mangesh is saying that every company is doing its bit, and yes, there is a huge scope for improvement.
Yeah. And yeah, someone had written bad boss behavior, bad bosses and stuff they have seen in last companies. And hence, it's extremely important that the middle management know what they want from the entry staff. Because if the middle managements are trained well, equipped well, they'll automatically create a safe and learning environment for others joining in. So the idea is, when you're strategizing the whole kill attrition process, it doesn't just start from the head to the toe. It's way around. It's actually, you're trying to get the tail first. So once all those things are sorted, I this is the best you can do. And the final is professional development. So there was this whole article, people were leaving Infosys. Imagine, yeah. We keep saying we want all the big brands. People were, because Infosys has not been able to give good hikes. Like I gave you an Adobe example. So they came up with, they have actually retained a 20% or 20 to 30% of the people who were leaving, which is a huge amount. Trust me, when people start leaving, even retaining 1% or 2% becomes a task. By providing them a study plan, saying that we are going to fund your education and plans. And of course, here will come a question, can this be done for blue collar, gray collar? May not be study plan, but maybe a growth plan. Because what do these people hunt for? Blue collar, gray collar. They are earning by, by hours, and there is a daily wage and stuff. For even a shift of minimum of 2000, 3000, they'll shift their jobs. So if you give them a growth plan, understanding that they can also grow from an entry to something senior, or they that kind of vision is given to them, they will also be retained. And also extremely important is their insurance and security. Generally they are the solo earners from in the family. Here we'll close the session. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope this was productive. Now it is open for all of you to ask questions. Also, there is an email ID which Neha will talk about.
Yes, everyone. So now we are starting our Q&A session. Please feel free to put down your question in the chat box or Q&A box, and we will be happy to answer all of them.
And you can write to us on marketing at billioncareers.in.
Yes, if you have more question or you want to have some direct answers from Divya, so we can definitely revert everyone back. And also, if you have any suggestions for our future webinar, if you want to conduct a special on a special topic, or if you have any suggestions for topic ideas, you can let us know. We will be more than happy to take it ahead.
So Shruti is asking, is this a monthly session, Neha?
Yes, Shruti, it will be a monthly session. So this is our first webinar of this series. So every month we will be taking a hot topic on this particular field, and we will be addressing and solving uh, the problem with the webinar. So this is our goal.
Okay, any other questions? But my question is to Sabari. Do you think that we were able to help you with the millennials issue? If you are there, Sabari, super thanks. Anytime, Shruti. Any strategies?
Yeah, Divya, so we have question from Namita Mehta. So she is asking, she have been recognized, but yes, there are many who had not,
No, that was
and
commenting on
okay,
revolvement.
that is just a comment. So we have another question from Charles, and he is asking like, what is the plan and how to go about in retention uh, when one wants to go?
What is the plan and how to retain? So I
Yes.
think, Charles, I listed out 8 steps pretty clearly. This should help you, and these have been followed by different companies to curb their attrition. So if you start with if whatever problems we have generally, whatever work we are doing, we start with analysis first before anything. And of course, having a strategy and growth plan in place for your employees would be extremely important, because we need to think that employees need to feel like employees rather than robots. So, and especially our frontline workers feels a lot like robot. We still sit under an AC and work. They're doing field sales job and different jobs, and don't have those benefits. So, if they feel that respect, that value, that safety and security, they would like to last with you. Any strategies to handle redundancy manpower, which forms the main chunk of involuntary attrition? So I think, Mangesh, it has been my experience also. Sometimes you hire a manpower and they might not be performing to a great level. So if you say involuntary, it means you were supposed to ask them to leave. I think you can do a proper coaching session. You can start. That means as a manager, you will have to invest a little more, or an HR has to, where the person can do a weekly or once a week, session with them and to see the progress. And if that also doesn't changes, you can only put in like a 6 months effort. If it changes, that's great for both the sides. So a proper coaching and mentoring is required at that time, because sometimes it's a mismatch of expectations. Sometimes a person is too laid back, or you need to just show them the way. Okay,
Um, we
Namita is
have one
asked.
more question from Namita. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're asking about mental health. That's a great question. I think mental health is something, whether it's blue collar, gray collar, white collar, us, we all suffer. And I think in COVID, we all had kind of a traumatic experience, losing a lot of our loved ones, or maybe some people we worked with and stuff. What you can do, that's why people are doing a lot of tie up with, I think, your dost, and where people can speak their mind. So you can, again, either you, if you have a psychologist within an organization, or a tie up with such companies, or asking your managers to do a fun Friday, where, or someone who's extremely emotional intelligent or certified to handle such things, doing a monthly session, if not weekly possible, so people feel they can vent out, someone is there to understand, and there is a health plan in place. So as people are, definitely, I think India is the highest depression in youngsters currently. Same repetitive work to an extent would increase attrition. How can we protect this? I've seen people not taking accountability. How can we make them to be accountable? Correct. I think you and I also, Savari, would be doing the same work. Neha, you are also, right?
Yes.
So, Neha, what do you do to keep yourself feel that you're learning something new every day?
So we have to like push ourselves out of our comfort zone to learn something new, so that we can be updated with the trends. I think that's the best practice.
That's true. That helps. And I think also, if you can do, sometimes I think a lot of staff is feeling and that, I just come, if if I come, I research, I do, and the same data I'm interpreting, same thing. I think giving them a little space of researching, doing some fun activity, making that work fun would be a challenge, but can be done. Or doing a learning and development session with them really helps, because if we are not doing any learning and development, it becomes a stringent issue. So if you see in my 8 steps, I have quoted learning and development twice. One where you're doing a professional training of employees. I love to get trained, because I think I'm learning something. Otherwise, I'm just doing what I know. So doing where your employees can learn something new would be great. Quarterly, I think it should be monthly. Quarterly would be too long, because if it's every month or bi-weekly, at least you can track their progress, Namata. Any test to identify, there are a lot of tests. There are psychometric tests. You can do MBTI, and you can do the big five personality, to understand which personality this person is. And you can actually see whole your team doing that test. That's not very long. It would be what, a 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a test, which can give you a real personality of that person. How a person behaves under stress, how a person behaves under, can he be a leader, can he be an adaptable person or a team person or not.
So anyone have more questions? We have a few minutes more to this webinar, so we can take some more questions. So anyway, even after this webinar, we are we will be happy to take your questions. You can write us an email to marketing@billioncareers.in, and with your topic suggestion or any question answer you want to hear from Divya or any one of us. So that will we will definitely get back to you guys.
So I'll just say one thing. Sorry, miss the content. Do we have ready record? Yeah, yeah, it's being recorded. Chanchal, no problem. Just one thing I would say, learning and development has been a huge push in different industries. So when I said Infosys has used it in different places, a lot of companies have their own good team of learning and development. So creating canned courses or trying to understand what your employees need. Maybe they feel a little difficult to speak up. They have some, fear of managers, or just public speaking, or addressing their thoughts, or not knowing how to frame it right. There are zillions of courses which can be built around it. Or you can just do a weekly training or a monthly training according to the schedule they are looking into. But making learning and development as one with your company is extremely important. If it is not, it's not going to go very long. And especially for frontline, where they have not been very privileged, or they did not know the way, you can become the people who want to impact and give them the reason to keep growing and stick around, because you're the only one who's thinking through for them. That's, I think, would really help the workforce.
So very well said, Divya. So I think if there are not more questions, we will be concluding the webinar. So yeah, so I would like to say it was an Such amazing experience to have such a curious and responsive audience. And we all look forward to seeing you all in our next future webinars. And once again, I would like to say thank you to Divya and all of you to give us like be present in this webinar and making this webinar a successful webinar. Yeah, so thanks a lot, everyone. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.